honey and bring it in the beehive. Similar way, Baul will go to different houses and sing the name now, that is chanting with sacred sounds and Mahamantra, which heals the space around. And in return, the villagers, they return with their acceptance and affection and respect. And mostly farmers are living around, so they're giving rice and potato and anything that they grow there. This is also their energy, they grow it with their hand. This is one way of Madhukari, where you find your humility. So we are giving something so subtle, that is the mantra, to a person, to the householder, and we are receiving from something they have. So it's a beautiful exchange of the two worlds. So my pranam to all great Vidwans and scholars. I have done I think more than 1,000 concerts. I never felt so nervous like today. Because I never spoke in seminar. This is the first time that I am taking part in a seminar like this. Thanks to Ritaji. And perhaps you think that this is also kind of first time that a practitioner from a Baul tradition who speaks for the tradition in a seminar. So, I will just remember Guru first, and then I will start my very little understanding, because to talk about Baul, it is like I am trying to collect the sea in a small oyster shell. ঝিনুকের মধ্যে জল নেবার চেষ্টা করছি, সমুদ্রকে ধরবার চেষ্টা করছি. So, with my pranam to my gurus and Parama gurus, I start to tell you the stories of Baul. Nityam Shuddham Nirakaram Nirabhasyam Niranjanam Nityabodha Chidanandam Gurur Brahmam Namamyaham. Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam pavanebhya Vaiṣṇavibhyo namo namaha. Nityanandam namastubhyam Premananda Pradayine Kali Kalmasha Nashaya Janhavapataye Namaha. সকল বৈষ্ণবের পদে আমি করি নমস্কার, তা সবার পদধূলি দাও মস্তকে আমার। ওম শান্তি শান্তি শান্তি। Baul is an oral tradition, and our source or the cosmic library is this Ektara. My Guruji said that if you Ektara. My Guruji has said that if you listen to the sound of this one string, the cosmic library will open to you, and all the knowledge will flow through just with this shabda or the sound, that is nada, that is the Brahman. Baul is Nirgrantha, it's an oral tradition, and the knowledge is received through the transmission from the Guru to the Shishya. My master, my Guruji, Sri Sanātana Baul, who lived in Baul, he has tried to, there are many explanations what is Baul, there are so many ways of explaining Baul, but in one of his pada, he is explaining what is Baul. He says, Jaler bhetor agun jele boshe ache sadhok jara negative আর positive দেহ ভাণ্ডেতে গলাচ্ছে পারা চন্দ্র সূর্য পবন যোগে জেগে থাকে জাগে যোগে রেচক পুরক কুম্ভক যোগে দেহ ভাণ্ডেতে গলাচ্ছে পারা গুরুর কৃপা যার হয়েছে জানতে মরা সেই মরেছে পাঁচ পাঁচা 25কে ধরে অগ্নি মুখে রেখেছে পারা গোসাই সনাতনকে খ্যাপা বলে ওরে 68 হলে তখন ব্রহ্মা বিষ্ণু দেয় পাহারা জলের ভিতর আগুন জ্বলে জলের ভিতর আগুন জ্বলে বসে আছে সাধক যারা. So Bauls are the sadhakas who has lit fire inside the water. And with the negative and the positive, he is solidifying the mercury. With the awareness and awakefulness with Chandra and Surya in the Pavana Yoga, that is the pranayama I is talking about, he remains alert and awake all the time. When the Jagrata Sapna Sushupti becomes in one level, then this happens to the yogi. Rechak Purak Kumbhak Yoga, with the Rechak Purak and Kumbhak, he is solidifying this mind. But beyond everything else, what is necessary is Guru Kripa. Without Guru Kripa, one cannot become Jantemora. This is a very important term which is Jivan Mukta in Sanskrit. Jantemora is living with a living body but dead to the world. So when we say dead to the world, it doesn't mean that we are indifferent. We are not indifferent. We are very much samvedanaශীল. Or we feel the pain or the suffering of the other person. But only thing is that one who has crossed the limitation of the mind, and that is Jantemara. Then Pachpacha Potishke Dhore, or the 25 tattvas, is keeping it lit in the fire of the Homa, of the Guru, and of the sadhana. So, when I started my journey as a Baul practitioner, I did not come from any circumstance which has any trace of Baul in my life, except my mother, who was a Ramakrishna devotee. She would recite Ramakrishna Kathamritam every day. And as a child, I heard Ramakrishna Kathamritam like 16 times or more, and it was full of Baul songs. Dub 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 Sagore Amar Mon, and many others. So that was the only connection that I had with the Baul. But the real meeting happened when I came to Shantiniketan to study in the Vaiṣṇavism University as a visual arts student. And I will not elaborate so much on what happened, but I just want to say that it was not a glamorous thing. It was not glorious as Baul today. When I started 30 years ago, people just thought, even as Bengalis, they just thought that Baul was just folk songs. And you go, oh, Baul, Baul. But they did not realize these are actually a treasure house of oral tradition. And then I was very interested to learn this way. But my teaching method since my childhood was book and writing and listening and recording and all of that. I came from a contemporary study. So how do I learn oral tradition? My master, Shri Sanātana Baul, if he saw a pen and paper in my hand or a recording machine, he would go crazy. He said, no, this is not the way you learn. You have to listen, develop listening, and learn from that. So it is basically through the Guru Yoga, my Guruji Sanātana Baul and Shashank Gosai. In our Baul sadhana is explained as Krishna Anuragir Bagan. Amar mon chalo jai brahmone, Krishna Anuragir Bagane. সেই বাগানে দুইজন মালি, একজন উড়ে একজন বাঙালি। In that bagan, there is two malis, gardeners. One is Bengali and one is Korea. That is Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. So, Diksha Guru is the one who gives the initiation and opens up the possibility in a shishya to develop. It's a kripa to receive and opens the door. Then Shiksha Guru, what he does, he gives the knowledge of the repertoire of the oral tradition. And it is through the songs. Because all the teachings of the Baul are in the songs. And how do you maintain oral tradition? There are certain disciplines that has to be maintained throughout the life. Oral tradition is something that once you read and it is just kept in the book, then it will not give the result. Oral tradition is something that you have to manifest it then and there. So you have to keep it alive by practicing it every day. You have to attend from morning 3 o'clock until you go to bed. There is certain ways of practice which is maintained even by the very advanced sadhus. It's not that we have to do it in the beginning and then you don't do it. If you don't practice it, Saraswati will go. And so the thing that I had to do is to unlearn the ways I have practiced already. And I have to surrender myself to Guru Yoga, follow my master, and not keep any my own preconceived ideas or my understanding of what is life and what is philosophy or anything else. My first teaching with him, which I hold very dear to my heart, and that was the beginning, how he opened the door for me, I would like to share with you. So I went to him and I said, I want to be a Baul. Will you initiate me in Baul? Then he said, what dakshina you will give? Then I said to him that anything that you ask, I am ready to give. Then my master said to me, all right, you go to these 7 houses in this area, you sing Harinam and collect alms, madhukari, and bring it to me as a dakshina. So I went to the site, he said to me, and I found myself, I was in the area of the village where the poorest of the people were living. And I entered to a house where I saw 7 children eating from the same plate. So it's utter poverty and people have to really go down to enter, it's like a chopri, to go down and to enter the house. 8 or 9 people are living inside that small one room. Then my whole education came. I should help them. Why should I ask from them? And there was so much confusion inside me, thinking that I must help them. So my voice started breaking, and this old lady came from inside and said, "Who are you?" asked me. I said, I'm an aspirant and I want to learn Baul. Then he said, "Why you came?" I said, "I came from Madhukari." "You sing Harinam then, why don't you sing Harinam?" And I said, "I'm trying to sing." And she looked at me and she said, "Who sent you here?" Then I said, "Sanātana Baba sent me here." Then she understood because she follows my guru. And she smiled and said, "It will take long time." So for me to stretch my arms from her is a seva. How? Because as an aspirant, as a practitioner of the Baul, a sadhaka Baul, I am learning something so subtle, which making my Chaitanya into Chaitanya. Then I am there to share with her this moment of consciousness in the middle of the mundane sufferings, in the middle of all the struggle. She stops for a moment in the house and she remembers Sri Krishna. And that brings out her Chaitanya. And this is the highest of the sevas that Baul has said. By receiving alms, it is again offered to the sadhus. Nobody is accumulating anything. So she is partaking in the seva that we are doing. So this is the way how the seva is a collective process. Can we say that when we start seva, can we say that I will do Nishkama seva? This is not a decision to be made. You arrive at the Nishkama seva. What happens is that we are limited human beings. When we start the path of sadhana, we are not all evolved. We have our own struggles, even though we wear sadhana. And this dress is to keeping us, reminding us all the time for what we are. This is why we wear this costume. Yet we have to remind ourselves every day. So, in that process, when we are continuously contemplating on the divine, and we are growing this possibility, we try to expand our limited self. And that's the best thing that can happen, I have seen, is through seva. You slowly overcome all your desire by doing for the bigger cause, for the more people. And then you look very small in that process. And finally, you are able to find your liberation through that. And you become Nishkama Sevak. So we need to arrive, but as a first discipline, we must do the first act of doing the seva. In the Baul Parampara, the sevas, masters, my gurus, they have said that
Among the highest sevas is Vidya, Chikitsa and Anna. If you give money to somebody or provide goods, people will give you a long list of things they want. You can never satisfy anything. But you feed a person, after some time he can take only up to his stomach is filled. And he will be very satisfied. He goes with a smile. So Annadan is the highest of the seva. So this is why Madhukuri and this Annadan, that is, we don't say Annadan in Baul, we say Naru Narayan Shiva. That Swamiji was saying that Shiva Jnana Jiva Shiva. So seeing the divine in every person, so Nara Narayan, we are offering our ahuti or our prasad, our hope to this Nara, who is the form of the Narayan. And Vidya, also something that doesn't go in vain. There are two types of Vidyas, that is the material Vidya, which is the skill, and the other Vidya, that is Brahma Vidya. None of this will go in waste. And Chikitsa. But the real Chikitsa, I would like to share a song that Haure Goshai beautifully. It says, Bhaborogir Oshoti Shei Harinam. And the pada goes like this. Bhaborogir Oshoti Shei Harinam. Bhakti Anupan Diye Karopan. এবার করো সাধ্য বড় আত্ম বৈদ্য গুরু গুণ ধাম অন্ন বৈদ্য সাধ্য ধরে ঔষধের সাম্য করে ভবরোগ ঘুচাতে নারে দেহের অবস্থা করে ব্যবস্থা দিয়ে জড়ি বড়ি লয়ে করি জীবেরে করে আরাম. So it says that the only remedy for the bhavarog, which is the disease of all the other disease, the reason of all the other disease is Harinam. Give Harinam. And how you have to mix this Harinam in the bhakti patha, bhakti water, and drink it happily. And who is the Vaidya? Who is the doctor? Doctor is the Guru. In the worldly disease, the Vaidya, the worldly Vaidya, they give you some remedy. And then for some time they find some remedy to find comfort for you. But the real rog, that is Bhava rog, if you really want to take it away forever, the only way is Harinam. So this is why among all the other sevas, the highest is to give this seed of Harinam to all the human, because in the name he is present. His Shakti is in the name. And I just want to share something that came to me this morning when I was thinking about that how to look at the oral tradition as a mainstream learning. And this is something that we have always not, we try to document everything, but the real archive, it happens in the human body. And oral tradition is about that. So nowadays we talk about this AI intelligence and all this, artificial intelligence. So you can oral tradition, you see the parallel to that. It's an organic way. It's a dynamic way of growing our knowledge by practicing it every day. Here also you need to feed data by doing Nitya Anushthan. And this is a dynamic tradition that grows with time. The master transmits in very short time. And then the sadhaka is repeating and repeating and repeating, and then he comes to a realization where this knowledge is matured, and then he contributes more to the tradition. And it is like when we are talking here, there are thousands of sadhakas who are already growing this knowledge. So, oral tradition is not limited, it cannot be limited. Yet, there is a problem. Since the oral tradition remained in the tradition, since the practitioners did not articulate themselves and it remained in the practice and in the community of the sadhakas, there were scholars who were non-practitioners and they gave the definition for this tradition, and which is absolutely limited. For example, it's a very popular term for Bauls. Oh, Baul do not believe in religion. एक धर्म का तो कुछ नहीं है इसमें. वो धर्म के बाहर है. कैसे हो सकता है धर्म के बाहर? This is a popular term established by the modern scholars in the universities. But this is absolutely a wrong representation of the Baul. Anything in India cannot be without sanātana dharma. So when I asked my Guruji, who is the first Baul? He said Shiva is the first Baul. So it is a moment that I request to all the scholars. I am just singing with my guitar, that you work for it. Please write it down. Please make our understanding for the newer generation of all our oral tradition, don't let it be misinterpreted by the people who do not understand the tradition and who are not practitioners. So one of our main aim that my master asked me to take Sanatan Baba is, he lived in a small village just with his ektara, but he was holding this cosmic knowledge. If you look at the Baul masters, many masters, they don't know even how to read and write. But they can tell you the essence of Upanishad, essence of Vedanta, essence of Tantra, essence of Yoga and Bhakti. How did they do that? This is the power of the oral tradition. And so, my master said that in the modern time, it will be very difficult for the Baul practitioners to practice this oral tradition, yet it must go on. Because it is a way of practice, it is a way of learning that must prevail. Otherwise, our knowledge will become limited to books. We must practice the knowledge in order to grow it. This is why oral tradition is very important for our Bharata and the knowledge system. Please make it part of it. And how it is possible? Only through Guru Shishya Parampara. Otherwise, it's not possible. And then, so my master said that you need to bring articulation for this. He said, oh, you speak English, so you go and tell to the people who are educated. Then I told my master, how do I do that? I am just a Baul like you, and I am just a Bhikhari, Divya Bhikhari. How? Then he said, oh, you need money to travel. How do we do that? And then he put his hand in his jhola and he gave me 10 rupees. Here is the money. You go around the world. So I said, okay, Guruji, I take 10 rupees. And I went around the world. And I never spent the 10 rupees. So I went to many countries and speaking to wherever possible. And you don't know that since Baul was just taken as a music tradition, I had spaces like concert halls. I had spaces like where people come to listen to music, but I was actually giving them what my master said to do, to transmit the knowledge of the songs, because this is the only way we can transcend the understanding about Baul in the modern world. And then, so Sanātana Siddhashram, it is named after my master. He named it. So this is a kind of first, you can say, Adhyatmika Vishwavidya Shastra. That is the vision of my master, which I have been working on for past 25 years. And finally it has manifested in his physical body. And here we try to make the oral tradition, practice according to the oral tradition in the Guru Shishya Parampara. And beside that, we also archive and write from the practitioner, from their mouth, like listening from the horse's mouth, in English they say. Listening from the practitioner and writing it down. And the first work has happened, that is called Baul Premik, which is a spiritual diary of my master Sri Sanatana Das Baul, and it is giving from the Shastrika point of view, because yesterday what Swamiji said was very important, that when you read Vivekananda, you have to compare with the Shastra. You have to find it, you have to compare it and study it. Otherwise you might find it, your own narratives. And this is exactly happened with Baul. Because you have to see what the Baul song is saying and what is in the Shastra. Then you will never say that Baul doesn't have dharma and is out of religion, out of everything. So this is why this is very important to recognize the oral tradition as it is and to archive them from the practitioners, because we are losing practitioners day by day. And we are like very few people left in this. And in our ashram, we also, like yesterday, Kapil Prabhuji was telling about Divyavana, and we also created a space where we don't cut any trees, and where everything goes, including cobras and rats and everybody who live in harmony, because when we said Tapovan's where everyone can live without fear. And that is a Nishkama place where we can grow the Brahma Vidya, because what the energy we get from the environment, it feeds into our practice. So this is why we need to, I will not speak more because my time is over. Yeah, but if you have any questions, you can ask.
I would like if you can teach IIT about Baul for 14-hour lecture.
Yes, of course. Because this is the uniqueness of this tradition, where the Samhita, I didn't speak about it at all, but it is a knowledge, it's a yoga by itself. How to manifest that Brahma Vidya through the art, through the music and dance. This is something that it takes years of practice under the supervision of a guru. It's a very methodical way. It is so much misunderstood. Oh, Baul Udashi. You sing Baul song just like, I become a fakir. Everybody's manush. This is not, absolutely not so. This is methodical. There is a clear process. There is a clear discipline of the Baul practice. We hardly understand it. Anyway. Sorry, I didn't hear.
This will be our privilege, our good luck that if you just present something.
Oh, this is the Baul song.
Any Baul song.
Yesterday we had listened. We are really sorry short of time. So the last question from your side.
Actually, I am very grateful and thankful to Anand. Actually, in last lecture, I was having some continuous natural questions. How from Sakam Seva to Niskam Seva, how we can attain in the material world as our last. But I could get the answer in your divine voices. I am extremely grateful to you that if just in Tripura, I am giving an example as correlating with Swami Vivekananda's childhood days. When Dile, उनका जो कपड़ा था वो ऊपर से बेगर्स को दे रहा था. Similarly, in the last 10 days in Tripura, Agartala, I have seen some children, dance children. I took the photographs. I used to search some sevas and other things. देखा उनके बेगर्स को बुला रही है, वो बहुत ही
sorry to disturb.
उसमें जो सेवा दिया है, उसको बुलाया. तो मुझे लगा वो जो सेवा चाइल्डहुड डेज में उन्होंने किया है, वो स्वकाम है कि निष्काम. वो जो चिल्ड्रन, उस चिल्ड्रन जो उनको बुला के जो दिया है, इट इज ए इनोसेंट चिल्ड्रन. बेगर्स को बुलाया, बहुत ही आदरपूर्वक. उसके बाद माताजी को बुलाया, उनको चावल दिया, भेज दिया. वो जो चिल्ड्रन ने किया है, वो स्वकाम है कि निष्काम. दिस इज माय स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन. And Swami Vivekananda also did like that when he was in childhood. Yeah.
Well, samskar is something that he also beautifully says, Subramanianji, that how his father told, how his uncle told him, why he would carry the coffee. But because of that teaching, today where he is, what he is. Which 1,000 books cannot teach. When we listen that in our childhood, and this is why all the Gurukula Shiksha in oral tradition, it is by age of 8 one must start. And by 16 one is completely in the sadhana. Otherwise you cannot acquire this knowledge. So absolutely the samskara works a lot in this developing our nishkama sabha.